Hello and welcome to my fourth podcast. On today's pod, I want to talk about something that's gone through my head in regards to open MRI scanners. I'm also going to talk about how the weekend has been for me and where I currently am in regards to the pains and the issues that I believe my MS is currently causing me. To the first point, in regards to the MRI scanners, obviously, on my last podcast, I talked about how I've managed to overcome my fear. Not everyone can do that. Not everyone is the same. So my little thought on that would be, would it not be worth actually having maybe one open MRI scanner per hospital trust? And again, if people need to have transport for that, because again, it's not going to be close by for certain people, totally understand that, provide them with transport should it be required. Because each closed scan that is unsuccessful, it costs money, and I have been made aware by people in the know that actually it's quite common for a decent chunk of closed scans to be unsuccessful. I know, I've been there more than once. So the thought for myself would be, is it, certainly for cost effectiveness, long term, one open scanner per hospital trust, provide transport for those that need it. Yes, the initial outlay is going to be massive, I do get that, and I'm not a politician under any stretch of the imagination. I've done no research into it, this is just my personal thoughts, it's gone through my head, so I just thought I'd float that out and see what other people think. But if it helps those that actually physically cannot go through a closed scan, well, if we can provide them with an open scanner, which quite honestly, it does take away the claustrophobia aspect of it, surely that's got to be better. And in the long term, and I'm talking long term, I just wonder if that would be more cost effective, because you're going to have a significant dip in unsuccessful scans. It's going to be a lot more successful for people. So that's my thought on it. One open scanner per trust and transport for those that require it. It might be possible, it might not, but as I say, just my thought process. I thought I'd float that out there and see what people think about it. Now, thinking about my weekend, it's not been the best of weekends, I must admit. I've had 4 falls this weekend, and it's been a few weeks since I've been a bit fally. One of the falls was in the living room, and unfortunately I hit the deck, and I was probably on the floor for about 10 minutes or so before I could right myself and get back to my feet, which wasn't great. I wasn't overly happy with, but it happens. Another one, I was going up the stairs, and I was actually using one of my crutches to go up the stairs. It was Stick that was with me. Just thought I'd share that bit. And as we're sort of towards the top of the stairs, I had a fall, and I actually hit my forehead on the crutch itself, which was quite painful. I didn't do any major damage to myself, thankfully. Yeah, it was quite painful. But again, I managed to eventually right myself and carry on. Managed to get up the stairs and do what I was going to do. Over the course of the weekend, I've had 2 injections. My left arm has definitely been like a pincushion. I'll be honest with you. I've had my flu jab on Saturday, which I've never had to have before. It's a bit of a new one for me, that. Obviously, I've been put forward for that due to my diagnosis. So yeah, I had that on Saturday. On Sunday, I've had my 4th COVID injection. As it stands at the moment, I think I'm doing okay. I've got a bit of a sore arm, but that's it. So fingers crossed it stays that way. Due to the issues that I've had over the weekend, with being a lot more wobbly than usual. Every single day I am quite wobbly, I'll be honest with you. But this weekend's been particularly bad. I spent a lot of time actually just sort of relaxing. I've watched a bit of telly, been a bit of telly, sport on the telly. I've watched a bit of cricket, a bit of American football, which usually I would watch when I wake up for work. It's quite early in the morning, so I would sit there and normally watch the 4th quarter, because that's about where we are time-wise. So yeah, I've watched a bit of American football. There's been football on the telly as well, and watched West Ham play. They are my team. I'm a West Ham fan. It's not the easiest team in the world to follow, believe me, but we carry on with them and we follow the scores every week. At least we picked up 3 points this week, which was quite nice. Makes a change, because it's not been the best of starts to the season, let's be totally honest. My youngest, she's gone off to camp this weekend with school. I'm sure she's going to really enjoy that, and I'm actually really looking forward to her coming home and letting us know exactly what she's been up to. Say she's been in touch a few times, and yeah, it sounds like she's having a great time. So yeah, it's another one. I'm quite looking forward to hearing all about it. Going back to some of the issues that I've had over the weekend, one of them last night, went to bed, I was actually having a really good night's sleep. Around 2:15, I woke up and I really needed the toilet. But I was in a lot of pain with my back and my legs, to the point actually I physically could not get out of bed. It was very, very uncomfortable. Now, I laid there for probably half hour, 45 minutes, give or take. And I'm thinking, just talk yourself out of it. You don't need the toilet. You'll be okay. I was wrong. It seems you can't talk yourself out of needing the toilet. After a while, I realised actually, you know what? I really do need some help here. So I very gently woke up the wife to ask if she wouldn't mind helping. Bless her, big smile on her face. She was quite happy to try and help me, which she did. She managed to get me out of bed, get me across the hall to the toilet, and yeah, I managed to go and get back in bed. What I will say is I'm pleased that she went straight back to sleep. From my point of view, I couldn't. I stayed awake for a good couple of hours after. A little bit upset with myself that I'd had that issue and I had to wake her up, because she's got work today, so she needs rest. But sometimes we just need help. And unfortunately, last night I was absolutely in that position where I really did need help. And I'm very lucky that I got all the help that was required. I did go back to sleep. I managed to process it all and sort of get everything straight in my head and sort of realise, actually, this sort of thing is probably something to an extent I need to get a bit used to. So I did. I processed it, accepted it, and woke up this morning I could never say perfectly fine, but I was able to get out of bed and walk around. Still very wobbly, but at least I'm able to move, which is quite helpful. It's been quite nice, I must admit. But yeah, I mean, in terms of what I've got going on, I think at the moment my MS is being a bit of a problem. I'm having a lot of pain in my back and my legs, and as I've alluded to, I'm very wobbly currently. Yeah, so the pain in my back and my legs is actually quite extreme, and it's been a bit of a struggle. I must admit, I'm trying to carry on as best as I can. Sort of trying to find a balance on how to continue doing everyday things, but it's not been easy. But I'm getting there. I'm finding a way. I'm trying to find a balance, and once I've found it, all good. I'll be able to continue on as best as I can. Back at work tomorrow, so I really need to try and find a way to to continue on. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I was going to talk about today. I will say I'm really grateful to everyone that's downloading and listening to this podcast. I know I've said this previously, but the fact that I'm looking and I've got people all over the world downloading and listening to me talking about what I've got going on and whereabouts I am currently, it's very eye-opening, and I thank you all very, very much. I really do appreciate it. I think that's probably it. I think I've probably bored you all enough for today. I look forward to talking to you all again soon, and I hope you all have a good time. Okay, speak to you soon. Bye bye.